It was just another night, the storm outside raging as I cozied up indoors. I found myself stranded in my small house, nestled amidst the unforgiving woods, isolated from the rest of the world. The storm was fierce, the wind howling like a wild beast, the rain pounding against the roof, and the power playing a game of hide-and-seek with the darkness. But the storm outside was nothing compared to the one that was about to brew inside. My phone, a beacon of connection in my solitude, rang abruptly, the caller unknown. Before I could answer, the call dropped, leaving me in bewilderment. My confusion soon turned to unease as my phone lit up again, this time with fragmented text messages that seemed like desperate cries for help, intertwined with nonsensical phrases. As the storm outside grew louder, so did the eerie silence in my home, broken only by the chilling pings of incoming messages. I tried to ignore the messages, but they just kept coming, each one more disturbing than the last. They were like twisted sonnets, harrowing and cryptic, each word sinking its claws deeper into my psyche. "Your light flickers beautifully in the dark," one read. "Why do you look so worried?" another asked. It was as if they were watching me, studying me. I tried to trace the number, but every attempt was a dead end, a futile venture into a digital labyrinth. The phone became a conduit of my fear, amplifying my dread with every vibration. I needed to hear a familiar voice, someone to anchor me in this storm, so I dialed Jamie. All I got was the cold, impersonal tone of a voicemail message. Jamie would call me back later. Meanwhile, the texts grew more aggressive. "Stop calling others, talk to me." The words echoed in my mind, a chilling symphony that crescendoed with every unread message. My home, my sanctuary, was being invaded, one text at a time. I was a prisoner in my own house, the walls closing in, the silence punctuated only by the storm outside, and the ominous buzz of the phone. The isolation of my home suddenly felt like a trap, and the messages were the bait. I was being hunted, toyed with, by an adversary I couldn't see, didn't know, but they knew me, and my fear was their delight. The power cut out completely, plunging me into an unnerving darkness. The only light was from the screen of my phone, casting long, ghastly shadows around me. As I navigated my once familiar home, a sudden movement caught my eye. A fleeting shadow darting away from the window. A chill ran down my spine. Just then my phone buzzed with a new message. Much warmer inside. My blood ran cold. The realization hit me like a bolt of lightning. I was not alone. In the midst of my rising panic, Jamie's call came through. The relief was short-lived. His frantic voice echoed through the speaker. "Listen, I lost my phone yesterday. I couldn't tell you sooner. Someone's been trying to reach me on it all day. Have they contacted you?" Jamie's words hung in the air like a specter. The texts, the intruder ... it all made a sickening sense. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum, each beat echoing the increasing danger I was in. Then a faint sound, a door closing. My back door. I was too late. The intruder was already inside my sanctuary. My heart pounded in my ears as I turned, phone lighting up the figure in my home. The intruder was here, and I was their captive audience. The game of cat and mouse had just turned deadly, and the mouse was cornered. The figure advanced, my phone buzzed, and the message sent a chill down my spine. Finally home. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum, the echo of each beat drowning out the storm outside. I moved quickly, my fear propelling me. The vase fell, shattering into 1,000 pieces, its noise a blessing in disguise. It masked my quick dash to the bathroom, my hands fumbling to lock the door behind me. I dialed the police, whispering my situation into the receiver with bated breath, my other ear straining for the sound of the bathroom door being tested. The sirens wailed in the distance, their promise of safety a thin veil against the terror that prowled just outside. As I waited, my breath fogging up the cold mirror, the vulnerability of my digitally connected life hit me. As the sirens blended with the storm, I couldn't help but think about the shadowy figure and the unseen dangers of our connected lives. You know, there's a memory from my childhood that's always stuck with me. It was a time of youthful innocence, when our small town was buzzing with the excitement of our annual carnival. Among the many entertainers, one stood out, Mr. Giggles, the clown. His laughter was infectious, his tricks captivating, his painted smile a beacon in the sea of revelry. There was something about him, something that drew me in. I was drawn to Mr. Giggles, his laughter, his tricks. If only I knew then what I know now. As the carnival days rolled by, I started noticing something off about Mr. Giggles. His tricks, once whimsical and enchanting, started to take a darker turn. The dolls he used for his magic acts, they resembled the children from our town a little too closely. and his vanishing act ... It was disconcertingly realistic. I brushed off these eerie feelings, attributing them to an overactive imagination. One night, curiosity got the best of me. I snuck out to see Mr. Giggles' late-night performance. What I saw was not the jovial clown we all knew. Alone in the dim light, he practiced his routine with a disturbing fervor. His laughter, usually so infectious, echoed harshly against the tent walls, filling the air with an unsettling discord. His eyes, usually hidden behind the veneer of his painted smile, were cold and devoid of any joy. The following day, the carnival's music was drowned out by the cries of my mother. My younger brother had vanished. A frantic search ensued, the joy of the carnival replaced by a palpable dread. Recalling Mr. Giggles's disturbing vanishing act, a horrible thought occurred to me. I ran to his tent, my heart pounding in my chest. Inside the tent, I found a collection of personal items, a hair ribbon, a toy soldier, and there, among the assortment, was my little brother's favorite bracelet. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. Mr. Giggles wasn't just a performer, he was a predator, using his position to lure in his unsuspecting victims. I never thought I'd find my little brother's bracelet among his collection. That's when I knew. I remember the look in Mr. Giggles's eyes when he saw me in his tent. It was nothing like the clown I had seen on stage. His painted smile was now a snarl, his eyes no longer twinkling with mirth but burning with a cold, sinister glow. The tent was filled with the smell of popcorn and cotton candy, a sickeningly sweet contrast to the fear that gripped me. I found my younger sibling huddled in a corner, their eyes wide with terror. Mr. Giggles was just steps away, his laughter echoing ominously in the confined space. In a moment of desperation, I remembered one of his tricks. With trembling hands, I swiftly performed it, creating a momentary distraction. It was enough. Grabbing my sibling, we made a run for it, bursting out of the tent and into the cool night air. Our cries rang out across the carnival, piercing the night like a siren. The townsfolk came running, their faces filled with shock and horror as they took in the scene. The authorities arrived swiftly. With the evidence in his tent and our testimonies, they apprehended Mr. Giggles. Stripped of his costume and makeup, he was just a man who had used laughter and magic to mask his monstrous deeds. In the end, Mr. Giggles was just a man who had stolen the innocence of our town. You'd think that would be the end of it, but some things, they don't just go away. The town was never the same after that fateful carnival. The annual celebration of joy and unity turned into a grim reminder of the innocence we lost. We were no longer a carefree community. Trust became a luxury, suspicion our new companion. As for me, I was changed forever. The face of Mr. Giggles, his menacing eyes behind the painted smile, haunted my dreams. I became wary of those who wore their joy a bit too openly, their smiles a bit too wide. The laughter of children, once a symbol of untainted happiness, now echoed with a chilling undertone. And sometimes, on quiet nights like this, I can still hear that laughter. It's a reminder that some fears, they never truly leave you. Imagine a theme park, world famous for its thrilling rides, but hiding a disquieting secret. We, a group of friends drenched in adrenaline and laughter, discover a hidden treasure amidst the chaos. An old, seemingly deserted haunted house named the Forgotten Mansion. This spooky attraction, mysteriously missing from the park map, sparks our interest. We decide to delve into it, seeking an alternative to the usual adrenaline-fueled fun. An aged park attendant, shrouded in shadows, attempts to deter us, whispering that it's not intended for the public. His words, far from discouraging us, only heighten our curiosity. Ignoring the tingling sensation of discomfort, we push the creaking doors open. The mansion, surprisingly well kept inside, greets us with an eerie coolness. And so, against our better judgment, we step into the Forgotten Mansion, unaware of the spine-chilling adventure that lies ahead. Inside the mansion, we realize things were not as they appeared. The hallways, lined with antique portraits, seemed to breathe a life of their own. The eyes in the paintings followed our every move, an unnerving watchfulness that sent a chill down our spines. The thick with a cold draft felt like a ghostly breath upon our necks. And the sounds, oh, the sounds, echoed from the walls, indistinct and yet eerily familiar. As we ventured deeper, the mansion seemed to awaken. Doors slammed shut us, the props seemed to come alive. A sense of foreboding filled the air. The line between the theme park attraction and reality blurred for us. Our hearts pounded when we found a hidden diary in a secret room. It revealed the mansion's true history. a real house belonging to a forgotten illusionist, now cursed and haunted. The mansion was no longer just an attraction. It was the illusionist's haunted playground, and we were its unwilling participants. Locked within the mansion, we had no choice but to play the illusionist's game. Forced into a twisted world of riddles and illusions, we found ourselves treading a line between fear and fascination. Each puzzle was a masterstroke, a testament to the illusionist's genius, every riddle an echo of his legendary performances. The puzzle, a labyrinth of mirrors, refracted our scared faces into 1,000 shards of terror. As we navigated through the maze, we could feel the illusionist's spectral laughter echoing around us, the chill on our necks intensifying with each step. Next was room filled with floating orbs, each orb a piece of a larger, more complex puzzle. As we arranged the orbs in the correct sequence, the room shook with a phantom applause, the temperature plummeted, and an otherworldly chill filled the air. The puzzle was a game of shadow and light, a spectacle of illusion that seemed to defy the laws of reality. As we manipulated the shadows to reveal the escape route, we could feel the mansion thrumming with energy, the spectral presence of the illusionist almost palpable. With each solved puzzle, the line between illusion and reality blurred even more. The mansion wasn't just a haunted house, it was a stage, a theater of spectral performances, and we were unwilling participants in the illusionist's final act. As the final door creaked open, we sprinted towards freedom, our hearts pounding like a drum. But just as we thought we'd escaped the mansion's chilling grasp, we were met with the park attendant. His eyes gleamed with a familiar mischief. With a toothy grin, he revealed his true identity as the long-dead illusionist, sustained by the energy of the mansion and the fear it instilled. The revelation sent shivers down our spines, but we had no time to lose. As the illusionist cackled, we bolted, leaving behind the haunted mansion and its twisted owner. We ran until the mansion was nothing more than a speck in the distance. But when we dared to glance back, our breath hitched. The mansion, our prison for what felt like an eternity, had vanished. In its place was an empty lot, untouched and eerily silent. Was it all an illusion, or had we truly been caught in the grip of the supernatural? Our minds raced, unable to comprehend the reality of our experience. But as we reached into our pockets, we found something that sent a new wave of chills through us. Of us held an old, worn-out ticket. The words on it read, "The Forgotten Mansion, Admit One." Back in the safety of the park, we found a chilling souvenir in our pockets. Tickets to the Forgotten Mansion, a haunting reminder of our eerie adventure.